So, it was kind of I don't want to say a rude awakening, but it was kind of a really vital, needed realization when I realized that, like, I kind of made that change from thinking everything is, like, an absolute religious quest in spirituality. And I moved to thinking more like, people can just do what they wish, and that's the truth. I think there's things we're meant to do in life, but I think seeing everything is so precious makes everything much harder than it needs to be. Like, the truth of the universe is playful, and this is something I've kind of learned. Is for a long time I felt very oppressed, but now I'm kind of thinking, like, maybe actually in this moment it's coming to me, like, maybe the oppression I felt, kind of from the universe wasn't, I'm trying too hard to manifest things, and quasi-archonic forces are preventing me from finding my true path, from, doing my dharma, my great work, because the true nature of everything is play. I think because this has come through to me for a long time, almost more like nihilistically, but it's just playfulness. It's no need for big $5 words. It's playful, and this is a metaphor. I don't know if God really, if a particular, personal, Fred created the universe type God, Indo-European sky father. I don't know what God is. I don't know if God is an energy field. I don't know if God is a person. I don't know. I simply don't know. But the true nature of the reality is playfulness, and God made us to enjoy His creation, their creation. Is God gender neutral? Is He male? Is He what is He? Is God just a big man up in the sky with a big old pee-pee, or is God androgynous? It seems more logical that He's androgynous, but I think a lot of these things we're saying are they are speculations. I mean, what is more odd, that a giant man up in the sky is controlling everything, or that an androgynous being is manifesting things in a bizarre and intricate, almost infinitely layered process of creation that's just infinitely strange? And then at that level of complication, what's the difference between saying there's a God that manifested things and just saying that the universe evolved almost with some sort of autonomous intelligence? So I think this is one thing I want to kind of offer up, is that we don't know. And I think it's actually better to say, I don't know, than to say, oh, God is three, God is one, God is, God is just source, He's just simply energy. That being said, aliens have told me some complicated things, and I have some suspicions, so I'm not saying we shouldn't ask. I think when you're at that point of, like, basically being afraid to ask, or being discouraged from asking, being discouraged from playing with ideas in your head, you're actually when someone is talking to you like that, they're trying to cut you off from divine energy, from source, because that wondering, that curiosity, that creativity is, that is the divine in you, even if it's technically, wrong. Later, you find out later, but see, I don't think that's even true. I think there's only energy or not energy when it comes to concepts. And if a concept lacks energy, if it's not energizing, if it's not galvanizing, if it doesn't give life to you, then, you know, why have it? And it seems to indicate that there isn't an intelligence behind this, you know? There isn't a reality behind what you're saying, because the assumption is if concepts are galvanizing or energizing, that energy is coming from something real behind it. So, you know, that being said, I do think that, you know, a very mundane concept of a dude in the sky is like Indra, and then we keep finding bigger and bigger gods over time. Indra or Zeus, then it's like Pan, and then it's like, you know, it just keeps going. So, you know, then we find like Vishnu or Zorvan. So, anyways, yeah, I think I want to give a little bit of an aside here about Srila Prabhupada and other groups that constantly are like, don't speculate, speculation is the devil, you know. Lots of people are just out there speculating, but they don't know anything. Mental speculation, I want to give partial credit, because mental speculation can be very intoxicating, but that's rahu, that's false certainty. And there's this egoic, so there's this, you know, egoic excitement of like, I know what the truth is. No, you don't, you know. And so I want to draw this sort of line between, you know, knowledge and creativity, and I think creativity is by far more powerful than knowledge. In fact, I think creativity is closer to wisdom. I'm talking a little differently than I typically do. Typically, when I say knowledge, I'm going to say knowledge and wisdom interchangeably and basically just mean wisdom, because, you know, just head knowledge, just information, facts, dogmas, to me, that's just air. That's not even really knowledge. It's just pure delusion. So, like, critically, in the way that I think, there is knowledge / wisdom. You know, Veda, it's the topic. It is the knowledge. But in this case, I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying, you know, this head certainty, is practically useless. And that can be galvanizing, but in the sense of delusion, I think that takes some discernment to realize. And by discernment, just really, it's just experience. You know, if you get around and you go talking to this being or that being, eventually some things are going to start adding up one way or another. So